Okay, at approximately 8:46 yesterday evening, the Knox County Central Dispatch received a call of a motor vehicle accident involving a semi and a passenger car. As the calls progressed to come in, it escalated into a crash with a fire and a crash with injuries. When firefighters and officers arrived at the scene, it was determined that a vehicle had crossed the northbound lane of US 41 at the intersection of Old US 41 and US 41 in the Oaktown area and proceeded into the southbound lane, striking a semi-trailer, not the cab, but the trailer. And the vehicle then proceeded to become lodged underneath the trailer, and at that point an explosion did occur. Further investigation revealed that there were 5 people deceased in the crash. The driver is an Emma Lockard, age 21, of Carlisle. Lockard.
21?
Yes.
Where is she from?
Carlisle. And her 2-year-old daughter, Anna Lee Hunt, 2 years old. Her son, Noah Hunt, 1 year old. Laura Hall, age 17, has a Mount Carmel address, was a passenger of the vehicle, as well as a Ronnie Mendoza, age 17, of Carlisle, Indiana, where that was the other passenger, for a total of 5. Mendoza. Then further investigation revealed that Miss Lockard was 3 months pregnant. Yeah, we had deputies on the scene till 3 o'clock this morning when the highway was reopened. Our investigation is going to be continuing. Indiana State Police Motor Carrier Division is inspecting the semi as we speak. Knox County Coroner Don Halter had the autopsy was conducted on Miss Lockard, and through their investigation it was determined that all individuals had died of smoke inhalation. So that's pretty much where we're at this point. The investigation is going to be continuing, and as of right now, all family members have been notified. Funeral arrangements are being made by family members, and we're at standstill at this point. Does anybody have any questions?
What was the crossroad line?
Old US 41 and US 41.
Set up by what, the
Oaktown. If you use a landmark, it's the Old Halls Melon Market.
Is that a right or a left-hand turn?
Yeah, that's on the
Pardon me, what was the question?
Is that a right or a left-hand turn from Old 41 onto?
They proceeded across the northbound lane into the southbound lane, and we're not turning.
Okay.
It was a straight shot across. It's kind of an angle intersection.
Yeah, an angle.
Most of those aren't familiar with it, and it is deceiving with oncoming traffic.
But they weren't turning on.
No, they were driving straight and basically drove straight underneath the trailer of the semi. At that, she was crossing. It was pure speculation only, going into Oaktown area. I mean, we can only speculate at this point. Pardon me? Huh?
Who did you say your driver was?
Emma L. Lockard, Lockard, age 21.
Are toxicology reports still pending in this case?
Yes, they will be, Tom, for a couple weeks probably. Just as a note, the truck driver, let me get his name down real quick. The truck driver involved in the crash was transported to the Sullivan County Hospital per state statute requiring for any fatal serious injury crash to submit to a blood test, which he did. which he had negative results for anything. Speed, it appears, is not a factor in this crash in the semi. As far as the vehicle crossing the highway, the passenger car, if you go statute-wise, failed to yield right-of-way to the semi. And there was not any skid marks, any physical signs of pre-crash analysis or anything.
Truck driver's name?
Yeah, let me get, just
okay.
give me a second, guys. We'll get through this real quick. Jeffrey T. Richardson from Waverly, Tennessee.
What kind of a car was it that he was driving? Do you know, was it a compact car or a bigger size vehicle?
We were able to determine that through VIN. Physically, we could not determine what type of vehicle it was, but it turned out to be a 93 Cadillac, older model, mid-sized Cadillac for the day.
And not be able to physically identify it from, was it just because it had burned up so much?
The crush of the crash and the heat of the flames.
Okay, you may have said this earlier, but do we know what happened as far as the explosion, when it happened?
Again, that would be purely speculative, and we can't say. Whenever you have two vehicles colliding together with fuels combining, it can happen pretty easily.
I want to ask if you could reiterate, and again, you talked about that road coming through at an angle, going from the Sullivan County area toward Carlisle. Do you think that may have been a cause in not seeing the semi?
Again, Thomas, purely speculation. Crossing that particular intersection hundreds and hundreds of times, its visibility is good, left and right. I cannot tell you why.
And because I'm trying to deal with time changes as well, at 8:46, what's the light on?
It was dark. Yeah, it was dark, clear, temperature in the 60s. I mean, it was physically, it was a nice evening.
How do you feel about your team's response and emergency crew's response in dealing with the scene?
We had, just the sheriff's office, we had 9 deputies there, 7 off duty. Firefighters, yeah, I mean, Indiana State Police assisted, Sullivan City Police, Sullivan County Sheriff's Office, Knox County Coroner's Office, Washington Township, Oaktown, and Vincennes Township all had responders at the scene, and everyone was necessary.
Can you talk a little bit about the magnitude of this crash, comparatively speaking, with all the years you've been doing this?
In the 35 years of working within law enforcement and 31 years in the sheriff's office, this is probably the worst crash as far as magnitude and trauma that I can personally say I've observed, and I've been involved in several hundred whatever traffic fatalities in my time frames.
This was not a truck from the coal mine or anything like that?
No, sir. No, it was a transport truck hauling salts.
Is that intersection in the one directly south of that at Casey's General Store, have those been problem intersections for you guys?
2 hours before this fatal crash, we had another property damage crash at the same intersection. Yes, that area is a hazardous area for us that investigates crashes. Without going into statistics, I know we've had a couple there this week. Yeah, we've had several fatalities in that area. The property damage crashes, I know we had 1 or 2 there already this week. So it is a problem area.
Why do you think that is?
Again, with the curves and the hills, they are deceptive. But when you come down to rationale, it is very clear. Both intersections are very clear. You can see either which way. So again, you can't tell what is going through a person's mind before they enter the intersections, but the physics of it is the curves and the hills are deceptive for speed and distance. Again, I'm not a physicist. I can't go into detail, but as a layperson, you can physically see it.
Are there people working on an accident reconstruction to better give you
We did contact the Indiana State Police for a reconstruction. Sergeant Clark, the Indiana State Police, advised that we had covered our bases. The investigation was going professionally in the proper ways, and he will assist us if needed. As of right now, no.
Mike, I want to get this clear in my mind. She was like coming down from there at Orals
Yes, those that are familiar with that area,
and then
coming
running
from
up over.
McKinley's Orchard, Orals area, then you have a little curve, then you approach the intersection, and then you have a stop sign, cross a northbound lane into the median, and then you cross the southbound lane to go into Oaktown, in that area.
So she was coming like down that road.
She was coming from the Carlisle area, north to south, and across the highway.
And there's no indication as to why it was she pulled over.
Absolutely none. Nope.
You may have touched on this a little bit, but you said that the road was closed down for several hours.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you kind of go through the process, the cleanup, I guess, of it all?
It was, again, the magnitude of the situation, the semi-trailer had to be literally cut in half and lifted by a couple wreckers off of the victim car. And then it was a conglomerate of damage, just leave it that way. And it required the firefighters, the working of the wrecker services together just to get the car from underneath the trailer. So at that point, it took several hours to get it done, as which our deputies directed traffic all evening. Major Bantlin and Detective Fisher did what we referred to as a crime scene at that point, photographing, videotaping, measuring, basically trying to recreate the crash. So that's what takes the time to do a crash like this. And we're not done yet. We will go back up later this afternoon and probably use videotape from our cars to videotape the scene again in the daylight to be able to present a picture of what this road looks like. So it will be continuing.
I imagine that all five were died at the scene.
Yes.
Do you know the relationship between the other two and Lockard?
From speaking to family members, if I'm wrong, Donna, correct me, were they cousins?
Laura Hall was a cousin.
Yeah, Laura Hall was a cousin to Emma Lockard, and the Mendoza was a friend of Laura Hall.
Do you have the age on him? I mean,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Laura Hall was 17, and Ronnie Mendoza was 17.
They were both 17, is that correct?
Yes.
Could I get you to go through those names again and spell them?
Emma L. Lockard, age 21, of Carlisle. Anna Lee, we're assuming Annalighh, Hunt, age 2. Noah J. Hunt, age 1. What's that?
You said the phone line?
Noah, N-O-A-H.
No.
Laura Hall, age 17, with a Mount Carmel ID. And then Ronnie Mendoza, 17, of Carlisle.
Is it Ronnie or Ryan?
Ronnie,
Like R-O-N-N-I?
yes, R-O-N-N-I-E,
M-E-N-D-O-Z-A?
yes, yes.
How do you spell Laura?
L-A-U-R-A, yes, ma'am.
I got one more question. You talked about that area being an area with a lot of fatalities, a lot of injury accidents. From your opinion, in 35 years of law enforcement, is there something that can be done to make those intersections safer?
As a lay person looking at it, maybe some signaling device, yellow caution flashing, dangerous intersections ahead. But again, not being an engineer, it's hard to say.
Has it not ever looked at that?
Yes, it has. Yeah, Department of Transportation has looked at it. Yes, it was.
You just decided it wasn't right?
That was their decision. I cannot tell you, was not involved in that. Anybody else have anything? Again, we appreciate you coming up here, and I do apologize for not having a press release, but we wanted to make sure the victims' families were notified, and we had everybody's name to begin with. We notified the victims' families about 1:30 this morning. So that's pretty much where we're at right now. Thank you.